Good evening, everyone. We gathered here today as a continuation to our meeting from last week that we dealt with the last Parashat HaShavua of Toldot. And we talked about Yaakov and Esav, this duality in nature. There are two types of people. The people who wants, like Esav, the will to receive to itself by consuming 200,000 volts into them without having the vessel to contain the lights, and then everything is going away, and then all of the vitality that they wanted is evaporating, and then they're staying what we called in Esav, ayef. Ayef means exhausted. And we have the wisdom of the Jews, which is the Jacob way, which is just innocent in the tent. He's just walking on the malchut, on the kingdom, on the manifestation of the lower part of the tree, on the 10%. I'm getting a little bit of light that my vessel can contain, which means every time I'm doing a walk in front of the reality, like let's say that there is a hardship coming towards me, I need to find a balance, to be Jacob, to be the balance. All of the code in the Torah, it's words telling us how to behave in the ongoing life, how to fix our relationship with our wives, how to fix our relationship with our immediate family, with our community, with our greater community, and with all human beings. Now, in order to be balanced, we need to understand the duality between Jacob and Esav in us. And now we are going into the 7th parasha of Genesis. 7 considered to be the most delighted, Shvi'in Chavivin. Now in 7 it's also the latest Sephirah of the Malchut, so it's a manifestation of everything. If we will understand the glimpse, the essence of the beginning of Vayetze, the crown, and the main theme of what is hidden behind the code of the words of Vayetze, we will basically understand the Torah in the Malchut level, and this is the Tikkun. Malchut Atzilut, the kingdom, the here and now, the high and the low one understand. So I'm inviting you, let's read the code, and when I'm talking on Vayetze and this parasha, we're talking about the letter of Jacob. So the letter of Jacob is basically the 10 Sefirot. And it's not just this, it's actually the 10 Sefirot in a 4 level, because we're talking here on 4 worlds that connect between us down here on the here and now to the higher world. So if we are imagining this letter on a level of the 10 Sefirot itself, so we have basically one world of Asiya, which is here, above it Yetzirah, another 10, and then we have a tower of another 10, which is Yetzirah, Lo Yetzirah, Bria, and then we have Atzilut, and then we have even Adam Kadmon. But this concept of the 10 Sefirot, let's dive in and read what does it mean to decode the level of the parasha according to the inner understanding of the sod and the pshat. The pshat is how we're reading it on the simplicity level, and the sod, the secret, is how we are interpreting it in a high level conception based on the Rashbi and Arav Ashlag and Ari concept. So we try to dive in. Vayetze Yaakov mi Be'er Sheva, and Yaakov left Be'er Sheva and he went Harana, Vayelech Harana. So when we are quoting it, we know that Yaakov is the Jewish neshama, is the middle path, is the Jewish walker that walk in Hashem ways. And where he's going? He's going from Be'er Sheva, from the whale of 7. So we know that Be'er, it's a foundation of life, of inspiration, of Or HaGanuz, of the higher worlds. And Sheva is the kingdom of the Malchut Atzilut, from the higher world. So he's coming from high. The Jewish neshama is coming from heaven, under the chair of God. And when it's born, it's considered to be Vayelech Harana. And the neshama is going here to the manifestation, kingdom world of manifestation, Olam HaAsiyah, and it's dealing with the charon, the kas, the anger, the hardship of this life. Most of the life, the seven decades, 8 decades that we are spending here, are dwelt with a lot of agony. So where we are going from Be'er Sheva, from the Gan Eden, from heaven, from paradise, to this world, which is basically sounds like hell, Harana. Who wants to live in Harana? It's not just anger, it's angrina, Harana. It's a big thing. Now, Vayivga b'makom vayelin sham ki ba hashemesh. Now, immediately we are entering into the most beautiful story in the Torah, the story about Jacob and the angels in the letter. What is the message there? So he had the revelation, and he took all the stones, heaven in Hebrew, it's from the word Havana, Le'avin. to see on the domem, on the object, and to see behind the object, to see the insights. So he's gathering all the insights, and he's coming and he's seeing the angels of God walking up and down the ladder. And here, I'm a little bit breaking the subject, and I'm telling a story that maybe we can explain what does it mean to climb a ladder up and down. There is a drush that's saying that the angels looked at the origin, at the sky, how Jacob looked like in his icon at the higher worlds. And they moved and saw him how he's looking down on this earth. And they saw that he fulfilled his potential fully. The image up and the image down is equal 100%. So what Jacob succeeded to do in his way of finding the balance, of growing from Esav, which is the will to receive, taking the righteous on being the firstborn, the advice of the Jew, just don't drag or chokhmah, a wisdom of light, more than your vessel, than your kli can contain and fix. So all what you do, you don't need to be bothered to consume 200,000 of lights on the left side of receiving, like Esau. What you need to be bothered is just to take a packet and to make sure that you are fixing it each time, packet after packet, and then you are accumulating a big amount in the end. So it's not, in the Esau world, we want high vitality, we want all the light in a one go. It doesn't work. When you're going to school, you have Kita Aleph, you have grade 2, grade 3, need to go through a process. That's life. Life is the process of going through the agony of learning from failing and succeeding, failing and succeeding. If you didn't go through the rabbit hole, you can't make a real decision with your own heart. So so the story was, when they saw the figure, from this, one of the rabbis thought that those angels are watching each one of us in every moment of our life to see if our icon is equal to the icon of us in the higher worlds. They're checking when they sing that the icon is different. Icon is like the image. You have an image. Let's say that in your most perfected potential in the higher worlds, when you are already perfect, Moti has a particular look. And there is a different look on this planet, on this earth, a different haircut, okay? Now, if the angels seeing the lack of authenticity, lack of like you're not who you're supposed to be, so what they can give you, what is the best gift that they can give you? The inspiration / the whip to shake you to grow into your potential. Now, this message can be hard, this message can be nice. Usually it's 100% hard. Why? Because you need to be shaken. You need to shake. You need to, disturb.
So give you a challenge.
Exactly. Review and challenge. Now, so the story goes on, and then you understand that he's saying, and Jacob woke up from his sleep, and he said, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, there is a God in this place, v'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know, vayar vayomer, and he saw and he said, ma nora hamakom hazeh, what is this place, en ze im bet Elohim b'zeh sha'ar hashamayim. This is the house of God, and this is the gate to the sky. Very interesting. Now, when I'm looking on this verse, which is the 7th verse in this 7 parasha, Parashat Vayetze is the 7th parasha, and Vayikatz Yaakov, when Jacob woke up from his dream, when we are waking up from our dreams, in the first 2-3 seconds, we still have a vivid story of the entire concept as a whole. If we can't put the efforts to capture it in our memory, if we are not moving it from the fast memory to the fixed memory, the dream will go away. But we still have a second to capture it. Now, when Jacob was in this moment that he saw the dream, and he saw not just the dream, he saw like a lot of messages through the dream, a full letter, the vessels how to connect to divinity. And what was the message? He was surprised that even in this place there is God, and I didn't know. So he expanded his horizon to understand that before he imagined that in this place there isn't God, but then he discovered that not just that this place is, how does he say it? Not just that this place is like, Manorah, It's also the house of God, and this is the gate to the sky. So his revelation was, in a scan, I scanned this, before I came to this encounter, I scanned the situation. There was no God in the picture. After I realized something new from the dream, the vision that on the letter that I saw, now I understand that God present in places that I never imagined that there He is, and also this is God, all about God. It's in the places that God you think is not there. So if I'm taking this concept and I'm moving it into you're fighting with your wife, what will we think? That God is not in this place. But what Jacob is telling us, that this is your opportunity now to hold your horses and to understand that every argument with your CEO, every argument with your wife, every weird person, every beggar on the street, you are Jacob, and you have Jacob and Esav inside of you, and you have a battle of plus and minus. You have like duality. It's always a conflict. And how you're solving this conflict? The conflict needs to lead you to reunion, love, peace, harmony, rather than dispute, conflict, fights, agony, misery. Now, let's assume that I'm putting all the easy people aside for a second.